Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my review of Wonder Woman. This was directed by Patty Jenkins and of course starred Gal Gadot as, Diana Prince or, Wonder Woman herself along with Chris Pine and others. So, and others. Just got seeing the movie today, opening day. I know there were advanced screenings and all that, but I was just glad to be able to see it opening day, and my birthday is Sunday, so this was kind of like a part one to my birthday. I just wanted to see this movie as soon as possible. Didn't want to wait till Sunday, so we did. I just want to say right off the bat, let's build it up a little bit before I say what I think, I guess. But this movie had a lot riding on it. The DC, cinematic universe movies, they haven't been well received at all by audiences and critics. Critics, they're pretty generally disliked, but with movies like Man of Steel and BVS, Batman v Superman, Suicide Squad, a lot of fans are divided on those. And so a lot of people are counting on this movie to save the universe they're building here. I don't really want to make this like a comparison video or anything, but I just want to, get out of the way that I haven't had nearly as many problems with the DC movies as some people have. I thought Suicide Squad was alright. I think Margot Robbie was, entertaining as Harley Quinn. I like Will Smith. Some of the action was okay, but it definitely had some disappointing or underwhelming factors about it. Batman v Superman could have been the greatest comic book movie ever, but it was kind of underwhelming to me and it had its fair share of issues. I don't think it was terrible though, like a lot of people do. And then Man of Steel, though, I really liked Man of Steel, if not loved it. It's actually one of my favorite comic book movies. I don't know why people dislike that one so much, honestly. I don't really get that one as much. But me personally, anyway, people have different opinions, but I really like Man of Steel. When it comes to Wonder Woman, I'm kidding. I fucking loved, excuse my language, but I loved Wonder Woman. I thought it was a fantastic movie. Out of both Marvel and DC, I think Wonder Woman is actually the best comic book movie we've gotten in years, since Man of Steel for me. I did really like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but I think I like this one just a touch more. But it's been a really good year for movies. We had Logan, we had Colin Skull Island, which I liked a lot. Now Wonder Woman, so it's a pretty jam-packed year. But yeah, Wonder Woman, loved it. Like I said, thought it was fantastic. It's honestly already among my favorite comic book films of all time. I thought it was nearly flawless, honestly, and it's such a great surprise too, because with that Wonder Woman, she's been a character, throughout the years I've been fine with. She's never really one of my favorites, though. I liked her on the Justice League cartoon and everything, and the comics and stuff. But she always came off like a kind of a bit generic for me. I know I haven't read as much of her as some people have. But this movie with Gal Gadot, I know a lot of people pronounce it Gal Gadot, but I've heard other people yell at those people saying it's you pronounce the T at the end. I don't know. No offense meant either way, but with Wonder Woman, though, something I forgot the point I was trying to make. Sorry, it's almost 2 a.m. here, but anyway, I did like it a lot. Another big part of this movie, is that people. Okay, I got it now. Excuse me, sorry for that, but people see Wonder Woman and I think it's gonna be like this whole feminist type of movie or something like that, or that really like hard typical feminist like stereotype really. But the movie kind of, I don't want to say dances around it well, but it it has that feel, but at the same time it doesn't force any of that down your throat. It goes about it in a decent way, and it's not at all focused on that, really. Yeah, Wonder Woman's this great role model that, females can look up to, but she's also this great role model for anyone, and I think that movie really addressed that. She's a hero for everyone. So yeah, that's as much as I'm going to talk about that part of it. But it really, that really wasn't a thing in the movie. I think they went about it in a fair way, and it didn't really, have any effect on it, really. I was saying Wonder Woman is never a character I was too interested in, but this movie did for me sort of what Man of Steel did for me with Superman, what Thor did for me with Thor, and it just made me more interested in the character. And thanks to Gal Gadot and just how good this movie is, I like Wonder Woman quite a bit more now. So yeah, this movie is essentially, I'm not going to explain the whole plot, but it's essentially like not a coming of age story, but sort of an origin, sort of her rise to becoming who she is, and it's also like a fish out of water, type of setup. We have her on Themyscira. We see some montages or scenes of her growing up and everything, training with Amazons and the other warriors on Themyscira, and I really liked all that. The environment on Themyscira looked great. Visually, this movie is very good. Some people said there's some CG in the third act, or the climax of the movie that's a little bit sketchy. I don't know, I guess. I didn't really notice anything wrong with it though. And just generally, visually, I think it was very good. I think Zack Snyder or something, he produced this movie, I think, but of course he didn't direct it. But I still kind of keep, something of his visual style in there just to sort of connect it and make it feel like the same, world as, like Man of Steel and BVS and stuff. So I like that. I was never someone who, crapped on Zack Snyder or anything, so I was happy to see like a continuation of his visual style here. And then, so like I said, it's fish out of water, it's an origin story, but it all feels really, really organic. Yeah, there's some like exposition and things like that, but I think Wonder Woman's one of the best movies I've seen in a while, with how they handle the exposition, because you have like the lasso of truth in there and things like that, or you eventually find out more about who she actually is to these, to the people of Themyscira, and who she's meant to be to this world, and like the prophecy and everything. I probably shouldn't say prophecy, but excuse me. But the way they bring it up and they give you all this information, it feels very organic when they do. It never feels like they're reading something out of a book, ironically, or something like that. Or they're not really like looking at the audience and just explaining it away to them or something. It feels very organic when you find out more about who Diana is supposed to be and everything. So I thought that was really smart. And so again, briefly about the story, fish out of water. She trains on Themyscira, as she's growing, and then Chris Pine's character, Steve Trevor, he eventually lands on the island, during World War I. Also, really love the time period of this setting, too. It does remind you of, like, Captain America, the First Avenger, which I liked, except that was during World War II. But I do like this period setting. I think it really suits Wonder Woman. I'd almost like to see her back in this time, because I know she had to deal with she probably had to deal with something else, before we see her in BVS. But I think this time period setting did suit Wonder Woman. And I really love the training stuff on Themyscira and everything. But I also thought, like, when she gets to London, Chris Pine's taking her through, the town and everything, when she's getting acquainted with these new people and their, culture and everything like that. It is quite funny. And that's another thing about Wonder Woman. It has a lot of great elements to it. It's funny, but not like to like this typical Marvel movie extent. It doesn't feel like a Marvel movie where there's too many jokes that it makes you think, okay, I don't think they'd be jamming out all these one-liners in the situation. It's not like that at all. The humor, again, is something that's organic in the movie, and it's used in a very good ways, I think. And then it can also have this great heart in it, and you can buy into when it's trying to be serious, in my opinion. Excuse me. And so he's trying to deal with this war, and Wonder Woman of course takes notice of it, when she's brought into this world and she wants to help. That's just who she is. But again, it brings you back to that fish out of water storyline by seeing how kind of naive, but just she's very unfamiliar with this world of ours. And so she has a lot of views and ideologies that she was raised with that just don't apply to how this world outside of Themyscira actually is. And I thought that was all handled really well. She felt naive, but not stupid. She felt, the way she realizes things, or the way she sort of adapts to how this world is and where her character's at mentally in the end. I just thought it was very, very good with that. And of course, there's this whole setup for her that she's they're all trained to, take out Ares or something like that. Oh yeah, it is to take out Ares. So I thought it was actually a simple, but very fine story. I liked it quite a bit. And you also have like the actor from X-Men Origins Wolverine who played William Stryker. And it's like the one slight weakness this movie has, I guess. William Stryker, I forget his name in the movie, but him, then this villain with female villain with half a mask called Dr. Poison or something. They're a bit cheesy, a bit generic, as far as villains go. But I actually liked how they handled the Ares part of the movie. I actually thought that went in some really epic directions, in the climax. But we'll talk more about the final part in a couple minutes here. But besides those villains, I find very, very little wrong with this movie. And as far as the performances go, Gal Gadot, she is fucking awesome, man. I loved her. I was one of those that were questioning her when she was casted, for BBS and during. I thought she was fine in BBS. I thought she was, I liked her well enough, I guess. We just didn't really get a lot of her necessarily. But a lot of people say she's, too thin, or she doesn't look the part, or, something along those lines. And, it just bothers me, when they say that, because the thing is, she's probably in better shape than Linda Carter, or, a lot of people talk about Lucy Lawless, too. She's probably in better shape than either of those two ever have been. And it's not just about that either. She's just in great shape in general. If you watch any of her workouts or how she trains, she is, she's not like a bodybuilder, but she's very fit, very tight. So she's in great shape. She's very, very up to par, really. And I for some reason people just don't look at anything, and they just look and judge for themselves, just with an image they see or something. And then she was also trained as a soldier in the Israeli army, I think, too, so she could probably kick most of our asses anyway. So I thought she was fine. And so when I know she's actually that well taken care, when I know she's taking care of herself that well, and she embodies the heart and soul of this character, I have no fucking issues. She's just the perfect, well-rounded take on Wonder Woman. And I love Gal Gadot now, as Wonder Woman. I think she's great. She's charming, she's funny, she's awkward, she's, cute, but at the same time, and the very next scene, she can believably go into this, serious warrior mode, with this great heart and fierceness about her that you believe, and I just think Gal Gadot nailed it. And it has me more excited for movies that, like Justice League, that's kind of a bit leery of. It has me more excited for things like that because of her involvement, just because of how much I like her and how much confidence I have in her now. So yeah, Gal Gadot, she was amazing. And Chris Pine, I liked him quite a bit too. I haven't seen a lot of his work. I know he's been in the Star Trek stuff lately, like The Finest Hours, Hell and High Water, stuff like that. Hell or High Water, I mean. But this movie, it made me want to, see some of those movies of his, and I think he did well here. Chemistry between him and Gal Gadot is very good. There's romance, between them, but it's not forced. It's tasteful, and it's gone, it's went about in a pretty organic way. Yeah, there's some lines, like "I love you." That's kind of forced in at the end. When they haven't known each other that long. But the experiences they go through, it's fine. You kind of roll with it just because they do really well together in their scenes. So I thought that was fine. Like I said, there's some humor to this. Like, of course, all the stuff when Wonder Woman, gets to London and, her just getting used to everything, her seeing a baby for the first time, her wanting just to, carry her sword around, or, when she sees Steve Trevor, bathing himself. It's just very funny the way they go about it. Then when they, Steve Trevor says he's above average, and he wants to make sure Wonder Woman has an idea in her head when they go to, the rest of the civilization that he's one of the above average ones. And then when they sail on the ship, and it's just very awkward with, sleeping next to each other. I thought that was all very, very cute, very charming, especially with Gal Gadot's part, and Chris Pine, rolled with it, very well. They both rolled with each other really well. As awkward as that was, both literally and figuratively. I like that. And then Steve Trevor's buddies, the other soldiers we got to see, I thought they were fine too. Just a great movie. Of course, there's plenty of great action scenes, and I'll talk about those in a second, but what, kind of made those action scenes as good as they were, made us care as much as we did, was those little character moments, those moments of humor and their dynamics, but, and then the time Diana spent with the other soldiers too, just getting used to all their, antics and, behavior and stuff like that. And then the conversations, which have some really well-written dialogue about humanity and how people actually are between Chris Pine, Steve Trevor, and Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot, just really good. It builds up, so we really like those action scenes even more than we already would have. Like there's this great scene, of course we've all seen it in the trailers, of Wonder Woman coming out of the trenches, deflecting the bullets, and just, marching right towards, the Nazis, Germans. So that was great. Just the way she glides around, it was very cool. Like at first you think, okay, she's Wonder Woman, she can fight Doomsday and, be on par with Superman, but yet she's, are we supposed to think she's going to have trouble with these, soldiers or something like that from, decades ago? No, she really doesn't have any trouble with them. But they still make it entertaining to watch and not, boring or anything like that. And then when she launches herself out, when the guys help her, she kind of flies for a second, then she just, decks this this clock tower, or a building type of thing. It's great. And then people complain about the third act of this movie. Spoilers in the title. She has Ares reveals himself at the end to be one of Steve Trevor's superiors. I can't remember the actor's name right now, but I know he's done a lot of Harry Potter stuff, as my girlfriend is pretty excited about to see him. But he turns out to be Ares. A nice little swerve there, not to have it be William Stryker. And a lot of people complain that the third act is too over the top, too overblown with CGI or something. They compared it to BVS, the whole Doomsday fight. And I guess people just think comic book movies have been going too overboard with their climaxes lately. I thought the Doomsday thing was okay, and Batman v Superman, just the design of Doomsday could have been better. But anyway, with this, I didn't think it was bad at all. What would you think a battle between someone who came from Zeus and Ares, the god of war, would look like? Is it just gonna be like a regular sword fight between two people or something, or what? I don't know what people were really envisioning it would be like, but I thought it was epic. All the effects worked for me. I love, how effective Steve Trevor's sacrifice was at the end to destroy the gas and everything. Again, just really good acting, and, from Chris Pine and, Gal Gadot, both of them. But then when she snaps, over that, and she really unleashes the power within her, she just, blazes and just knocks, soldiers down left and right, then just overpowers Ares and eventually zaps right through them. I just thought it looked amazing, and I really bought into the scene, and I really felt for her and her intensity and her sort of burst from her heart, of that fury she does have and that she unleashed here. I just thought it was great all around. Then I was hoping for a Ben Affleck Batman cameo in the movie, at the end, have her telling him about it, then have him just be sitting there or something. we got a little bit of a touch of that, with the email thing again at the end. With Bruce sending over the photo that they had taken when they saved the town and everything. So that was fairly touching. Then we see her kind of fly off. She's staying in London at that point and everything. So yeah, just a really great movie all around. I loved it. I knew it was going to be pretty good. I thought it was going to be a solid one, but I didn't expect it to be one of my all-time favorite comic book movies, and it is. So yeah, one of my all-time favorites actually. We'll have to watch it again. Maybe I should wait for it to settle, but it was still incredible. Definitely go see this one. If I had to rate Wonder Woman, I'd rate it about an A plus actually. I tried to think of something wrong with this movie, and besides the William Stryker and Dr. Poison being a little bit generic, Ares kind of made up for that for me. I liked what they did with that story. Besides that, I can't think of anything wrong with the movie at all, really. Gal Gadot was great, the action was great, the character dynamics are really good. Chris Pine was fine as well. Just an all-around near perfect movie, really, and just an awesome launching pad for more DC movies to come. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought about Wonder Woman. I loved it. I already want to buy a shirt, I want to buy a poster. Yeah, so let me know what you guys think if you've seen it, and so follow me on Facebook, Twitter, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.